alle Gipfeln ist Ruhe, über alle Gipfeln spürst du kaum einen Hauch. Die Vöglein schweigen im Walde, warten au balde, ruhst du auch. C'est un trou de verdure où chante une rivière, accrochant follement aux herbes des rayons d'argent. Le soleil de la montagne est fier, lui, c'est un petit val qui daar zat een klein kaboutertje te huilen op een steen. Huilen, huilen, helemaal alleen. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night.
As perdizes não gritam. Primeira tarefa, colocar o silenciador. O mais provável é ter de esperar um sítio que não vais querer que as pessoas percebam que acabaste de matar alguém. Depois tiras o silêncio para fora, coloca ali 6 balinhas, fechas, and it's ready to shoot.
السلام عليك يا مريم يا ممتلئة بالنعمة الرب معك مباركة أنت في النساء ومباركة في ربك سيدنا يسوع المسيح يا القديسة مريم يا ولدة الله صلي. Salut Marie, pleine de grâce, le Seigneur est avec vous. Vous êtes bénie entre toutes les femmes, et Jésus, le fruit de vos entrailles, est bénie. Sainte Marie, Mère de Dieu, priez pour nous pauvres pécheurs. Oh baby, baby, how was I supposed to know?
C'est le seul mot d'arabe que je sais dire, je suis désolée de vous laisser voir. J'ai mon père m'a envoyé un message vocal 5 minutes avant de monter sur scène et j'ai juste appris ça par cœur. Mais how does it feel? How does it feel in your body?
Hello, thanks for being here today with me. I feel quite honored, I must say. In times of great loss, it's important to stay together. But what does it mean to stay together? With who do we stay together? Yeah. Everybody stay together. Terrible things wouldn't be happening in the first place.
Is it okay if I look at you while I talk because I feel a bit nauseous and unwell and it's nice for me to look at one straight point, but don't take it personally, you all. It has nothing to do with you. It's just, I feel like I just arrived in this place from another place and I must go chat. In this, it's like, no, it's nice, it's like this, and nothing makes sense anymore. And also, it is a big responsibility to tell you something. And I always feel like I don't know what is the right thing to say, like I have nothing to say, but this is something you should be not worried about.
Nice that we're meeting here, since we could have also met in a cafe in Tunis. But there is something special about this place where everything is enhanced, our bodies, our voices, so maybe you will pick up what we are sharing with you. Do you know the word urgency?
And we will not be dealing with all this fucking loss. The problem about togetherness, although it seems like a whole big meaningful word, is that it can go in many directions. While we are here together creating an idea of a whole, there might be other people together somewhere else creating a totally different idea of a whole.
Don't worry about your responsibility, Elma. You should feel free to express yourself in a non-complicated way. So don't listen to what I say. Actually, cover your ears. Actually, don't even look at me. Because girls like you should not listen to girls like me being insecure. Hell no. I'm just here saying how I feel. Maybe it's nothing much, but maybe you feel nauseous and unwell too, and you wanted to stay home tonight. And so you will find relief in hearing me say that I am nauseous and unwell too, and we will create a silent connection.
One, where we are, that we are here. So the first thing I would like us to acknowledge is that right now, we are here. And I know that we are, of course, also not. Anywhere we sit, we bring the outside in all the time. To just be here is not an easy thing at all. Where are you even? We are in Tunis, Qurrtaج. Je suis en Tunisie. I am in Arab, Andalusia. I am in Africa.
This is a critical moment, Elma. There is more and more violence every day. Our news feeds are full of it. Bombings, drone strikes happening right now. The battlefields are far away, but the war is close. We are holding it in our hands. It's coming into our homes. Images, videos, almost in real time. It is the first time in history this is possible, Elma, and I worry about what it does to you.
Do you find it important to be here, or do you find it more urgent outside? Do you find it important to look at me standing here at a distance from you and pretending that I could be an example of who you could also be? Are you looking at certain parts of my body? Because if you are, that's okay, we can talk about it.
I mean, while I'm talking to you here now, I'm also thinking about when we made this performance, and we didn't make this performance in Tunisia, nous l'avons fait en Belgique, and we made it in Brussels. So every day I would take a train, because I don't live in Brussels, I would take a train from Mortsel, which is the village where I live, to Brussels. And I did this for a fairly reasonable price, and this is not a simple thing, so allow me to make a small diversion.
A choir isn't togetherness, but so is an army. Togetherness isn't problematic per se, but it isn't good per se either. And all these togethernesses, oh Alma, they can collide. Do you like it in here? Do you feel warm? Do you feel safe?
Because let's be clear, we are relatively safe. The reason we can gather here tonight is because of that. We come together to share stories. It can help us to not to feel so alone. And sometimes sharing stories is a matter of survival.
And hearing my story said by someone else with other words, is said in another context, is what moves me. So this is what I want to do with you, Alma. Just tell you my story, and then you take what you want from it and throw the rest. And maybe you will hate my story, and maybe you will go like, ew, what the fuck did you just say? And that is okay, actually. I'm okay with you not liking my story. I'm okay with you not liking me. Actually, you know what? You should feel free to not have nothing to say and still say, this is my advice for you, Alma. Do not give a damn about anything.
I want to make you blush. I want to make you feel how beautiful you are, but also, of course, how dangerous and harmful you can be. I want us to share our dreams, insecurities in such a way that we never need to hide anymore.
I want to take a moment to share my happiness about state-organized public transport, even though it is entangled with the nation-state, which is, of course, problematic. End of diversion. What I actually wanted to talk about were these posters. So on my way from home to rehearsals, I would pass about 5 posters that read, "You are EU," and then the image of a blonde boy, 10 years old, reaching out to touch a solar panel.
The future does not have to be shit, okay? Seriously, I might sound like an idiot to say this, but I am an optimist. Definitely I sound naive. Predicting a bad future might make me sound smarter, like I'm the only one who sees it coming. But seeing there are problems and believing we can do something about them, that is the kind of idealism that I believe in.
I feel all these things too, but I also feel scared, pressured, anxious, misunderstood, judged, judging.
L'Europe, c'est toi. And then the words, liberté, paix, et indépendance énergétique. And these posters, they really made an impact. A young woman in a sun-bathed windmill park. Other young guy on a roof with a ponytail installing solar panels. Third guy leaning against a modest electric car while checking his smartphone. Stabilité, respect et transition écologique.
In spite of the wars that continue to devastate life, in spite of them, humans are not evil. We are biologically evolved to be friendly and cooperative, but yes, tribalistic. And this is what is exploited by those in power, because as soon as people come into power, they become corrupted, and they start to use our weaknesses to divide us, often for profit. But, Alma, it does not have to be like this for you.
Je sais même pas comment je suis arrivée ici, en fait. J'ai l'impression d'être tombée d'un bateau qui m'est transporté sur la mer pendant des jours et des semaines et des mois, mais en fait, non, c'était pas un bateau parce que j'étais plutôt dans un sort de sac liquide où je flottais tout le temps et en fait, il y avait ce sort de son rythmique qui venait de quelque part et puis de temps en temps, je recevais des coups et voilà, et je redonnais des coups par derrière et je sais pas, et en fait, je pouvais pas bouger dans ce liquide, mais je flottais tout le temps et du coup, j'avais très peur, mais après la peur s'en allait, mais après la peur revenait, après la peur allait, et je sais qu'on dirait pas une super expérience comme ça, mais en fait, c'était vraiment très cool. Mais après, le cheval m'a accouché sur la plage et il est parti. And I'm here, jet lagged. I don't know, do I like struggling? I don't think so, but I do like new beginnings. And it has been more than 3 years that I live in Brussels now, and I still say to every person that I meet that I'm the new in town and I'm the stranger, the person who doesn't know how things work, and I think I like it. Speaking another language in front of people who would probably not understand me, but the thing is, I don't need to speak another language to be perceived as a stranger.
I feel so many things. Sometimes I imagine myself not using words at all. Just, sitting around, making some sound.
Alma, when I look at you, I see God. Not God the patriarch in the body of a young woman. I see consciousness, a mysterious and fragile thing, but powerful.
L'Europe, c'est toi, and I understand I am being addressed. Born in Flanders, white middle class, never having lived more than 15 kilometers away from where I was born. But these posters were spread out all over Brussels station, where there were people sleeping under them, who I assume are very much not addressed, even though they are very much Europa. And I think there is something in this combination of bland words and stylized images and the living presence of people they so blatantly ignore that can help us understand where exactly it is we are and how this messed up. 2. On stories, what kind of food do you like?
It's important to be able to reflect, Alma, so I want to ask you to really consider my question. Should we get a gun?
Je veux que tu vois, j'ai vraiment envie que tu vois comme on est moche et que tu en veuilles plus. So will you ask for more if we show you how ugly we are?
I like to compare the way we make sense of ourselves and of the world and of ourselves in that world with the way we learn how to appreciate food. We taste, we swallow, we digest, and some things go down easy while others take some time to learn how to appreciate. We are often distracted by fast food. Fast food doesn't fulfill our needs.
A person without a gun is like tea without sugar.
Do you know how to tie your shoelaces? Akid Alma, at your age, you know how to tie your shoelaces, but do you know how to untie them? And this feeling when you step out of your feet and you feel the earth under your feet in the skin, you feel maybe a piece of glass that cuts through your skin, and suddenly this very strong feeling of clarity, like everything makes sense. You know, this moment in my life where everything stank and the streets of Beirut smelled like trash, that I started to understand things. Things made sense.
I think it's time to introduce myself. My name means gracious or full of grace, but it also means a piece or a fraction of land, and it also means dune. Dunya, dune. So you could call me a gracious piece of land or a gracious dune.
My first name, Dunya, means woman who sees the world, and it's a mixture from the Arabic word meaning world and the Italian word meaning woman. You can also translate it as world woman or Miss Universe. And then, Hota actually has quite a funny story.
So he opened the Bible. Although he was not a religious man, he would go to church to wait outside with the rest of the men. And then he asked my mother to close her eyes and put her finger somewhere on that page that you opened. He felt like he was protected by the Virgin Mary because his mother had lit 1,000 candles and he survived the Civil War, so he felt like he was protected by the Virgin Mary for all the battles he had fought. So she closed her eyes, put her finger, and she put her finger on the word Hota, which means whale, not fish.
And like with food, some stories make us feel home and others shake us up, and we need to learn how to navigate this terrain so that we can live well, with health, with joy. 3, on feelings. I feel okay. Actually, I feel angry. Of course, no anger. Anger, it is too mild. I feel fucking furious, but it is an active anger. It is not bitter. It is something to use. L'Europe, c'est quoi, motherfucker?
So my late mother, who was Jewish, she wanted to give me a name that connected me with her heritage. So she gave me the name Donya, world, and Hota, whale.
I think anger becomes sad or bitter if you believe it has no purpose, no meaning. Elma, do not be ashamed of your anger. It can be a good thing. 4, Dunya Hota. My name in Dutch, it is a super positive name. First part comes from a verb, to do. In Dutch, doen, which is then reaffirmed again with the Dutch word for yes. Ja, doen, ja. Notice the a in the end, it is also very much a girl's name.
And my late father, he was a marine biologist, so he said, yes, of course, whales. Whales are highly intelligent social creatures. It is an honor to give her that name. But my father was one of those biologists who far preferred nature to human civilization, although he did play in a band with other humans for about 30 years. They played folk music.
It was the story of Yunus and the whale where he's stuck inside the whale. So they chose Hota because it was God's will, but still it was not fitting, especially for a girl's name. So they chose it as my second, and then my mother chose Dunya as my first.
So this was my first name. My second name is Hota, which means whale or baleia in Portuguese. So what would it be in food? A gracious whale? A whale in a dune, perhaps? And if we take the word Hota, baleia, in a small village in the north of Portugal, it also means broom, but a specific kind of broom, one made with branches and sticks and organic material. So basically, the witch's broom. I am a dune broom, so now I shall sleep, as my mother did, and her mother before her, and her mother before her, and her mother before her.
انتبه يا ألما, pay attention to the etymology of words. Hota, yahotu, muhit, ocean, which also means environment. And when you think of muhit, somehow, or maybe it's just me, I think of hisar, which is a siege. So instead of thinking of the ocean, I think of a siege.
And because language moves in mysterious ways, whale, hota, baleia also means to shoot someone, or more precisely, to put a bullet into someone. Bullet, bala, to shoot, balear. who shoots someone else. You, balaya, tu, balaya, or in the present tense. Someone shoots someone. So, in this sense, if a whale could shoot another whale, we would say, balaya, balaya, balaya. Balaya, balaya, balaya.
I remember a gig that my father played with a band at the Natural History Museum in Cape Town, and I went along as a kid, and I climbed up above the display where they were setting up, and they were setting up underneath a skeleton of a huge whale. So I climbed up into this little sound booth above, which had a curved transparent front, and I could look down through it, through the body of the whale at the band, while I listened to the songs of whales, and it felt like I was floating in space.
صراحة I've always hated composed genre-y like just choose one, it's not that difficult. But then I think of حوته and I imagine this whale swallowing the world, and I start to imagine myself swallowing all these lives, all these experiences. How many fingers and tongues and lips and penises can I fit inside my body?
Balaya, balaya, balaya. Balaya, balaya, balaya. Balaya, balaya, balaya.
But sometimes I would like to go by حوته. تصور اسمك الحوته. People will take you seriously if your name is the whale. So I like to imagine myself walking on the streets like a whale.
To build a whale. So the word whale in Dutch, it is walvis, which is a confusing word because of the vis part. Vis, it means poisson. But the walvis, a whale, it isn't a poisson. A whale is a mammal. So you get this whole miscategorization in language, which really makes things so much more confusing.
So it was invented by my grandfather because in Morocco in the 50s he was forced by the French to choose a new last name, so he named himself after the region he was originally from, Haute. And this is now where the Casablanca airport stands. And you know, in 1952 when the airport was built, they found a dead whale on the construction site. Or at least so my grandfather told my dad, and my dad told me. They don't really believe in this weird supernatural story, but I definitely do. So anyway, they found that this dead whale, but the coast is 30 kilometers away from the region. No way the whale got there, but I still believe it because I really like imagining this huge animal rolling heavily meter after meter over the ground up until the construction site. Or maybe she surfed. Maybe she surfed a huge wave and landed exactly on the construction site where she died. She died there and she landed there, she stayed there for weeks, fearful in all her rotting power, and everything had to stop. Everyone had to think about her all the time because her rotting smell would catch you at a distance.
So this track that you just heard is basically taken from a template, so something that's ready-made and then multiplied, like copied over and over again, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, and then layered on top of each other so high that it would start falling and falling onto one another and rolling into one another and becoming a mess.
So I've never seen a real whale, dead or alive, anytime. There was an orca in Newport like 2 years ago. Didn't see it, but there was a story on the radio, so my kids picked it up. They heard the words orca and Newport, which they do, and this is how they learned, the radio, it is telling us stories.
They took us jolly sailor lads a-fishing for the whale on the 4th day of August in 1864. Bound for Greenland we set sail. The lookout stood on the cross-tree high with a spyglass in his hand. There's a whale, there's a whale, there's a whale fish, he cried. And she blows at every span. The captain stood on the quarter deck, and a sod of a man was he. Overhaul, overhaul, let your davy tackle fall, and we'll launch them boats to sea. We struck that whale and the line played out, but she gave a flurry of her tail, and the boat capsized. We lost 7 of our men, and we never caught that whale.
So, how is it gonna be? Gun or no gun?
Alma, my name is Donnette, and Hota means whale. Et cette baleine est restée là pendant des mois en fait, puissante dans toute sa décomposition, et elle explodait des gaz et des intérieurs à chaque fois que quelqu'un a essayé de toucher sa carcasse pour la couper ou pour la démanteler. Et je continue de penser à elle parce que je me dis, qu'est-ce qui aurait pu se passer s'il aurait fait quelques mètres de plus? Est-ce qu'elle aurait pu retarder la construction de l'aéroport encore? Est-ce qu'elle aurait pu l'arrêter complètement? Et qu'est-ce que ma famille aurait fait alors? À quel point leur vie et leur rêve dépendaient de la construction de cet aéroport? L'aéroport a été construit et mon père est parti, il a quitté le Maroc, il a ramené mon existence avec lui. Moi, j'ai seulement gardé le nom.
I'm gonna finish the song because I just hate it when things get interrupted all the time, like on YouTube with like ads coming in to break the narrative. So here it is, okay. Now the losing of 7 fine seamen, it grieved the captain sore, but the losing of that bloody sperm whale, oh, it grieved him 10 times more. Now Greenland is a horrid place where our fisher lads have to go, where the rose and the lily never bloom in spring. No, there's only ice and snow. No, there's only ice and snow.
There's this song that I always thought was from the fascist militia that my father was part of, but then, but then I discovered that it had nothing to do with that, and I knew it from Majid Al-Loumi's song, and this is how it goes. It's actually written by Mahmoud حاصر حصارك لما فروا اضرب عدوك لما فروا يلا صبايا حاصر حصارك لما فروا اضرب عدوك لما فروا 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 حاصر حصارك. That's really fast. Picked it up really fast. But do you know what it means? No. حاصر حصارك. Surround your siege. لا مفر. There is no other way. اضرب عدوك. Hit your enemy. There is no other way. لا مفر. Strong. It's strong, right? This color, it's a bit tight. It's a bit tight on your arms, or what? Huh? It's small. Well, it's not. But this color is just very, it's good. It's strong, it's powerful.
it makes me think so much of this older friend of mine who would just love this. Like she just loves, you know what I mean? She knows, she feels colors, she feels them in her body. She's like, I've known her since I was started theatre school. We met like a long time ago. And
You're still
yeah,
friends?
we are been friends our whole lives. And she's just like, I will never forget her because on the first day of theatre school we had to introduce ourselves with an artwork, you know, like you do.
Yes. Like
So yeah, she brought this roll, like almost like a bisected globe, you know, like cut in half, and then it was filled with water, and inside it she had all these different shapes cut out of cardboard, and they were like laminated with plastic, and suspended at different heights because they were the continents of the world, and she had a whole theory about they were suspended at different heights because of their level of global responsibility to each other and the harm that she was like actually she was 19 because I was 18. But she had a whole theory, you know. She had like short pink dreadlocks and she spoke very fast and she was English, and I found her very impressive because she seemed to know a lot about the world, you know. She was talking about like Coca-Cola and Nestle and all these like global entities, these evil things, and how they were connected with each other. And at that age, I just thought it was very impressive, you know? I just thought like, oh, this is someone who gets it. But since I met her, she's been talking about starting this intentional community, like this creative community, Rainbow Moon.
Cute.
What?
Cute.
Yeah. And Rainbow Moon wasn't for me. I was not interested in Rainbow Moon. I had my own life and my own family. Until now, in the last years, I've been around a lot of death, you know, and being around so much death, it actually just gives you this fire, you know, this fire that Katie, she always had. This fire to be like, fuck it, there's no time to lose, you know? We're all gonna die, we've got to do what we want to do right now. So I called her up. She's been living in India the last couple of years. I called her up and I said, Rainbow Moon.
What did you say?
And that, she screamed. Because, you know, we've been waiting, but there is no time to wait. And it's not just gonna be us. We are going to start a community together, not just with a bunch of old women, you know? We're going to have young people, like you, Elma, to come and join, to bring your fire and your energy and your spirit into us. And my son is invited. Her daughter is hopefully coming with her partner. And we just need more people to feel like, yes, we can do this. Because I don't want to waste away this last period of my life. I don't want to be useless, you know? I want to keep working and creating like I've always done with my friends, with my chosen family. So we're doing it. And you know, Rainbow Moon is a dream that we've had for so long, but it is not a pipe dream. We have found land. We have found land.
Are we going to keep this name, Rainbow Moon?
What do you mean?
Are we going to keep this name?
No, I mean, I think that's something that I need to talk to her because it's her, you know, her name. But we could come up with something that is a little bit more collective, something more solid, something more permanent, something like very strong, something like ocean community, or like ocean family, you know? Like oceans are big and powerful, you know? Or whatever, it doesn't matter, the name is not so important. The thing is, this is not a pipe dream. We have found land, okay? And there are options. We have found a piece of land on the west coast of South Africa, Atlantic Ocean, cold desert, you know, spectacular, arid, harsh environment. We start from scratch there. Or, I found online, an abandoned village in Portugal.
Ah, we have a lot of those.
Yeah, and then we have buildings to start with. So we don't have to start from scratch, you know? We can bricklay, we can build up there. Or we go somewhere else, we go to Venezuela, or Costa Rica.
Yeah, all
we
these
go
places, like
to
there's nothing
Indonesia,
better,
or
like you can just find
Bulgaria.
Yeah.
Bulgaria is very open to creative communities. I found loads of places in Bulgaria. But it doesn't. We go to the top of a mountain, or we go to an island in the middle of the ocean, or we create a floating community or a flying community.
Okay.
There's no limits to what we can think of. Yeah. What?
You convinced me?
Yes.
I might join your
Yes.
rainbows.
Fantastic. Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, but let's be clear about this.
Yeah. Okay.
The
What?
bunch of old ladies in the village in Portugal, this might get dangerous. You know, we should consider guns. Guns, yeah. I mean, I hate guns, everybody hates guns. Guns are terrible things, but you know, I mean, we should, the world is fucked up. A bunch of old ladies, we should protect ourselves, you know? For hunting, you can hunt. What?
You just take it back to the whale and we continue the scene from there. Yeah.
You don't tell me what to do, okay? You don't tell me anymore what to do. I'm done with this shit. I'm done with you pretending to be the director, okay? I'm done with this. Honestly. Okay.
Please don't do
What?
this again.
What is this show even about? Huh? Feminism? A bunch of girls, ladies, sitting with a knitting?
This
Like
is not
what?
the time.
Am I supposed to feel empowered by this? Because it's not working, okay? It's not working. I mean,
This is not the time.
yeah, well, but when is the time to speak up?
I'm
When is
the
the time?
director. You complain to the director then.
I'm tired of me sitting around like we are in some fine place. I need a chair, like a grown-up, you know?
If it's about the chair, I can be the chair. Like that's not a thing. Come on. If it's about the chair, come. I'm a chair. Come.
Thank you. So what do you use, no?
Yeah, it's okay. I'm a chair.
You don't have to be so nice all the time, you know? That's how they get you.
Fine, then I also want a chair, please. I'm a chair.
I'll be your
Nice
chair.
chair. I love this chair.
I will sit. I will talk about this, okay? But this attitude is so counterproductive, you know? We get nowhere with this kind of attitude.
Well, I had to say something. My nerves were killing me, you know. I don't understand what we are doing. What's wrong with your hair? What do you mean? What's that? But why?
I'm making a character.
Are you? Yeah. We baby powder.
What do you mean? You think you're not playing a character?
Am I playing? I don't know. Am I playing a character?
I don't know.
I was actually invited to play a character. I was invited here to play a policewoman, which I can do because I learned how to do stuff. I learned how to shoot a gun with real bullets for a TV series where I was on. Yeah, I can teach you. I learned how to shoot a gun. I learned how to fence with a sword. That was not real, but it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I learned how to ride a horse.
Okay.
I even learned how to play golf,
This
which
is
can
okay.
keep players together. It's not useful anyway. I was invited to play a policewoman, and now I'm here talking about I don't know what. I'm very confused.
I'm not confused.
Yeah, you're not.
No, I'm not confused. I don't think anyone else is confused.
It's okay,
No, I'm not confused.
You
I'm a chair.
who's confused. I mean, really, there's nothing confusing about it. We're in a theatre, okay? So we come into a theatre, we start to construct something out of fiction, and we start to add like elements.
What do you mean fiction?
Of out of,
What do you mean fiction? I didn't do any fiction. That was really real, what I heard.
Yeah, but
And
then,
it was also very, very, very hard. We did it.
yeah, but you say it as a story and then it becomes partly fictionalized.
Yeah, but I really did say it as it was.
Yeah, people are confused. I'm just saying that people are confused.
no, but
People
okay,
are confused.
fine. This is not working for you. Whatever.
This is not
So
empowering
what empowers you
It's
then?
supposed to
What
empower.
is empowering?
It's just the idea, let's
Calm
put this
down.
on the second and power. What empowers me? Walking in the red carpet in Venice. That's empowering. Or in Cannes. Although these are beautiful carpets, huh?
You want to be a famous actor.
Well, do you want to be an unknown actor? Why are you here in front of people? Well, what about me having thousands of followers on Instagram? That's empowering.
Yeah, this isn't working anymore. This isn't working.
This
I
is,
thought
this isn't working. then.
no. I thought this was gonna.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, that's good. But it's getting a bit heavy. Let's do something else. Come on, gather. And then come together. Come join. Yes. Let's do something else. We're just gonna do something. Good job.
Yeah.
Standing up. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there, person again. Yes, you wanna do this one? Okay, this is great. This is already so much nicer. And then we
right, yeah, and left, yeah, and right, and left, and that is droite, et gauche, et droite, et gauche, et droite, et gauche, et oui, on part, voilà, voilà, vas-y, and there they go, they are up, and they walk, you walk, to the back, to the back, to the back, and then you walk, walk, and then you turn and back, go over here, and then go there, look at you going, you are doing great, to the back, don't fall off, you're doing great, this is amazing, to the front, to the there, yes, this is great, stop, hold, jump again, yes, let's get this energy going, you are up, you are down, you are everywhere, and then you come to the front, slowly, very intense, you walk, yes, you have power in your eyes and in your feet, and you walk lower and slower, and you use your arms and your legs, because now you are a tiger. Yes, this is beautiful, but we are doing something. This is amazing. Go, tigers. Yes, beautiful. That's amazing. It's gorgeous. So Elma, this is the part where I'm going to talk to you about education. Have I told you I have children? I don't have children, like nobody has them, really. But I put two of them into the world, and I am in this position where I take care of them on a daily basis. So through them and through their presence, I care about the future and about the stories we pass along. I would like for my children to understand that living well is not about planning an escape. Can we please acknowledge that we are all part of a fucked up world, and that this fucked up world seeps into us. It becomes part of us, so we can't escape. No matter how far we roam or how nice we make our living rooms right here. Which is not to talk trash about the living room, like living rooms, great places. They can hold comfort, they can hold joy, but they won't ward out bad things, and not everyone will fit into them. And I think we should take this seriously. So I want my children to understand that there is sorrow in the world that they are part of, and so this sorrow becomes part of them. And so they shouldn't learn to cut it out, because they will be cutting out parts of themselves. Look, they are coming back. Yes. You are beautiful tigers. That's amazing. Okay, so my oldest kid, she has a disability, an handicap. And I don't know what you think of when you hear that word. Elma, if you have any kind of specific imagination, then please toss it aside, like probably it is nothing like that. The word handicap, it doesn't tell you anything about a person, but it does tell you something about her position. Her position in a system, She navigates a world that wasn't made for her, and that treats her body, her experiences, her mind, her soul, as an aberration, a medical problem, something you need to solve. In Flanders, kids with disabilities, usually they are segregated into different schools, and this teaches them, like at a very young age, that they are, that they don't really belong. And it teaches all other kids that they can only belong if they do
well. It is not unconditional. And I think this is a lack of love in our educational system. So I was a teacher. I was an English teacher, and I had a class of 16-year-olds. And because I was a bit troubled with this role, I asked them, let's think together. What do you think of when you hear the word school? Just association. And one of them lifted her hand, great, and she said two things. Point one, I hate school. And then point two, we are so lucky to be able to go to school. And it was, yeah, it's super smart. It was a great piece of poetry. I was very excited. I applauded, but the class remained silent and looked at me a bit strange because she hadn't written it to provoke. She hadn't written it to be smart. She had just written it because she believed in it. Oh, hey, no fighting, huh? Come on, tigers. Bigger tiger. Ah, hey, that's not good. This is a bit of a cheeky tiger. In Belgium, kids are brought up to believe that they are lucky, even if in many ways and on different levels, they suffer from the world they are part of. And I think this breeds a compliance over complaint. And it results in a complete inability to join fellow critters, to join forces. We let companions be cast out and then praise ourselves very lucky to be in.
Yeah, true. That's a very good point you're making there.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we are warming up. And I've only just got started. Let's talk a bit more about education. Alma, this is the point where I want to talk to you about the things I had learned when I was your age. Like when I was 13 in school, what had school taught me? First thing, some kids are smart, some kids are dumb, and every 3 months or so you will get a piece of paper that will tell you in one specific number where you are on this smart to dumb scale. And it is good to keep this number as high as possible. School had also taught me that sitting still is a virtue. I recently saw a report card of a niece who is 7, and it said, tu as bien travaillé. You have worked very well. You can sit still very, very well. I too have learned to distrust the body's impulses, and that going to the toilet is something for which you need permission. And I learned this the hard way, like regular sanitary accidents, and I can tell you about this now, Alma. But when I was your age, they were the cause of so much shame. And to this day, I swear, in stressful situations, I still wet my pants. School had taught me that when we learn, we do it for the piece of paper to tell us that we are smart and not dumb. Tell me my grade, how did I do? We learn for our teachers to be proud, for our parents to be proud. We do not learn to gain pleasure, but because we have to, whether we feel like shit or not. And perhaps most of all, the school had taught me that I am not my neighbor. When grades are to be obtained, are you brought a ball? Yeah, you're a tiger. You gotta play it. That's it. You play. When grades are to be obtained, and why else would you do anything? Then these grades are individual affairs. Teaching the mind involves turning off the body and enclosing it from the world around you. Starting with your neighbor. You put up a binder. You don't let them see what you write. And school pretends that you learn like this. It sets out a road lined with kind and harsh teachers waving these report cards with motivational words or subtle judgments, and it pretends there is a promise that if you do this well, you will be okay. But okay does not mean you will live a happy life. Okay means you will win. And it quietly implies that others will lose. Alma, I don't want you to leave school. This is not about escape. I've told you that. But I do want you, Alma, if you need to pee, you go. You just go. And if they don't let you, you pee in the classroom, right there, in the middle of the classroom. It will be so much better for your bladder, for your mind alike. These are not separate things. And I also want you to know that bad grades don't reflect stupidity of people, but stupidity of systems, you know? Something like that. Now I'm gonna be a tiger. Yay! You're a tiger.
I like to be a tiger. I like to be a tiger because there's so many other things.
Hey! I like to play games.
I have a game for it.
You have a game?
I like to win.
I mean, I will play with the ball.
You know, for the games I have, I'm always up to. I'm thinking of the tiger and I'm thinking of a game that I have about becoming other animals. It's with partners, specifically. We are with partners. Yeah. It's the guess who game. Guess what? Yeah, I have a list of games. I just played and then I came up with a list.
Please share.
Yeah? So, okay, that's the guess what game. So you could be a tiger, you could be a pig, you could be a donkey, you could be a whale, you could be whatever you want. And your partner has to guess which animal you are.
Okay.
Yeah. And hospital, of course, I have to remember that the hospital is not a shelter, it's actually a target, just like the ocean is a siege.
You know, Elma, it is important to think of what sounds you make, you know? You don't have to reproduce the porn sound, I really think it is not a very natural sound. You really need to go with your own flow, and you don't need to be desirable while you come truly. The unfuckable, they fuck with great joy.
I really desire to walk in the darkest street of the city alone with a knife in my pocket. And I desire to push really hard when I feel like I'm being crushed. And I also desire to open my mouth, open my eyes, inhale at the same time while my tongue is out, and I feel suddenly that I'm swallowing the world. Just take out your earphones, take them out. You don't need them, just walk on the street, look into people's eyes, maybe pick some nettles, lick them, swallow them, taste the asphalt that covers them. And don't smile at people, just look at them. And you can smile only if you feel like it. Emma, tu veux venir ici? Enlève tes chaussures.
You have to cut through all the layers of skin, all the way through the flesh until you hit the bone. Okay? That's how honest you need to be about your own life.
You know, Alma, the work of Nawala Sadawi can be quite daunting. You know, she wrote this whole stack of books. Like, if it is too much to start with, just start on YouTube. There are like great interviews you can find. And there is one, because she is already older. She's in her 80s, and she has this white hair around her face. And the interviewer is talking to her about socialism, because she understood that in order to be a feminist, you also need some kind of socialism. And so he asks her, but you say you are not a Marxist. Why are you not a Marxist? And she looks at him very fiercely, and then she says, because I read Marx. This is, read for yourself, make up your mind.
السيرة الذاتية كمان تمشي بالصحراء، تكتب عن كيف تمشي بالصحراء بالشمس وينفشوا رجليها هيك بس لا توصل على المستشفى وتطبب الناس.
Hey, Alma, do you like theater?
Yeah.
Yeah? I read this theater play of Nawala Sadawi called 12 Women in the Cell, which is the play about 12 women in the cell. But there's also another character, a policeman. But I think it could be played by a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Better.
Much better.
1996. Basically, in the middle of the night, some people woke her up and took her into another room, and they made a medical operation onto her without her consent. What they did is they basically cut part of her genitalia, the one that is made for pleasure.
Ah, the clitoris.
The clitoris, yes. Et du coup, elle a dû chercher en fait à comprendre qu'est-ce qu'on lui avait fait parce que personne ne voulait lui expliquer. Et du coup, elle a passé une grande partie de sa vie à rechercher son plaisir, un peu comme une chevalière en quête de quelque chose. Mais c'est pas grave. Comment tu te sens?
Ça va, je me sens bien, je me sens rouge, épaisse, mais confortable.
Nice. Est-ce que tu peux bouger bien?
Ouais, j'imagine, je peux bouger, ouais.
Ok, bah on va essayer tout de suite. Est-ce que tu sais jouer à l'épée?
Non.
Ok, je vais t'apprendre. Alors, tu te mets dans cette position.
Ok.
Ok, donc c'est cette jambe, celle devant qui va commander et celle derrière qui va suivre. Tu vas faire des petits pas comme ça.
Comme ça?
Et quand tu arrives au fond, tu vas faire une fente et tu vas te lancer avec ta jambe et ton bras.
Comme ça?
Exactement.
Ok.
Et après, pour aller en arrière, c'est la jambe derrière qui va conduire. Ok, comme ça.
Ok, ok.
On essaie?
Ok.
En avant, en arrière?
Ok.
Et 1, 2, 3,
3.
et 1, 2, 3.
Ok.
Yes. T'es prête?
Ouais.
En garde.
En garde.
Pas mal.
Ça va?
T'as gagné. T'as gagné.
Merci.
Bravo. Ok, je veux juste voir s'il a assez résistance.
Ok.
Donc, essaie de booster le plus fort possible.
Vas-y.
Comme ça.
J'essaye.
Plus fort. Plus fort. Ok. 3, 2, 1.
Ça va?
C'est bien. Oui, marche bien. Je suis très contente.
Elle est grosse, hein?
Oui, mais ça va?
Ouais.
Ok. Tu voulais me raconter une histoire, non?
Moi, je voulais te raconter une histoire qu'on avait écrite à l'école
Oui.
sur Bruxelles, donc ma ville,
Oui.
la capitale de la Belgique. Donc, ce serait une histoire sur le Bruxelles du futur. En fait, comme on l'imagine, un Bruxelles très pollué, le futur, quoi. Et genre, en fait, le Bruxelles, il serait divisé en deux parties. En haut, ce seraient les riches, les humains, qui seraient protégés par une bulle qui les protégerait de la pollution. Et en bas, ce serait de sortes de lézards, je sais pas trop quoi, des petits monstres. Ouais, dans les égouts, quoi. Tout ce qu'il y a en dessous de la terre. Ouais, mais des monstres gentils, quoi, pas méchants. Et comme les humains, bah, tu les connais, ils aiment pas trop les trucs comme ça, les trucs pas comme eux, nouveaux, inhabituels. Et ben ils les exploitent. Et ces monstres, ces tornades, et ben ils travaillent comme des mines. Et ce qui va se passer, c'est qu'un jour, grâce à une bouche d'égout, il y a Greg, un petit garçon d'en bas, qui va rencontrer un humain. Et en fait, genre, chaque jour, ils vont se rencontrer au même endroit, ils vont tomber amoureux, ils vont essayer de bouleverser ce monde.
Ok, donc ils tombent amoureux en la bouche des coups.
Ouais, chaque jour, ils se donnent rendez-vous, un peu genre love at first sight, tu vois, des trucs comme ça, quoi. Enfin, c'était romantique. Et ce qui va se passer, c'est qu'ils vont essayer de bouleverser ce monde et qu'ils vont éclater la bulle. Et en fait, derrière, la nature aurait repris son cours.
Donc il n'y avait pas la pollution derrière la bulle.
Non, parce que la nature, elle avait repris ses droits. Et en fait, c'était magnifique. Et voilà.
Donc ils ont fait la révolution ensemble.
Ouais, mais il y a eu tellement de dégâts que ça a explosé la bulle.
Ok. Ben, c'est magnifique l'histoire.
Merci.
Mais est-ce que vous allez la publier?
Non, je pense que chaque élève juste doit la garder chez soi. Une copie chacun, quoi.
Je peux avoir une copie aussi.
Je sais pas.
Comment ça? Une copie avec ton prénom en grand
Alma,
par-dessus?
en grand.
Oui, Alma, en plus c'est un très beau prénom.
Moi, j'aime bien.
Moi aussi, ça veut dire quoi?
Alma, ça veut dire la porte, la sagesse, l'âme. Moi, mon préféré, c'est en arabe. C'est l'eau. En fait, l'eau, c'est partout. C'est dans vous. Vous avez sûrement dû boire de l'eau aujourd'hui. Ou bien même dans votre corps, il y a de l'eau. Nous aussi, on a de l'eau. Il y a de l'eau dans les nuages, dans la terre. Ici aussi, il y a de l'eau.
Ouais, ça nous entoure, c'est partout. Est-ce
Grèce, la Méditerranée.
Ok. T'as déjà été en France?
Ouais,
À quel âge?
vers 8 ans, je pense.
Ok. Et t'as quel âge maintenant?
J'ai 13 ans.
13 ans.
Et là, c'est quoi?
Ah, je pense que c'est la France. Enfin, c'est tout petit, mais
La Belgique.
la Belgique. Oui, c'est vrai.
Mais en bas, là. Plus bas.
Plus bas.
On est
Ah
là,
oui,
nous.
ça a l'air beau, attends. Ah, c'est la Tunisie.
Ouais, je pense.
صار لي فترة ما عم برجع مشتغلة كتير ما عم لاقي وقت لأقعد مع حالي ولاحظ إني عم بنحف إنه جلدتي عم تنشف وتتفرفط وحوالي سمك بتبرم وبتعوم لتاكل فرافيت الجلد اللي وقعت مني فبقول لهم تفضلوا صبايا وما تاكلوا إلا الصحة.
Elma, you have to picture a Buddha seated, okay? So a Buddha seated with one hand cupped in the lap and the other outstretched with the palm forward. And you're going to have to find your own balance between receiving and asserting yourself, you know?
Elma, lo so che abbiamo parlato tanto e mi dispiace, però devi anche imparare a farti sentire. Non importa se le altre persone parlano, tu imponiti, esprimiti, di la tua, pensa con la tua testa, non lasciarti influenzare dagli altri perché non ne vale la pena.
Eu estou a aprender a fazer jardim medicinal com ervas medicinais, com umas druidas que conheci lá em Portugal. E tenho que dizer que tens que ter muito cuidado com as ervas. Há ervas super especiais, mas tu tens que ter muito cuidado com as ervas que comes. Porque algumas podem matar.
Om altijd je eigen waarde zelf te beschermen. En niemand kan die van u afpakken. Waar je ook bent, waar je ook naartoe gaat, je hebt een inherente waarde, die hangt van niks af.
اصلا شو حتفيدني جلدتي يعني بشو حتساعدني من شو بدي احمي حالي مين منا محمي اصلا يا قلبي.
So just remember, do no harm and take no shit, okay? Do no harm, take no shit. And if that doesn't work, you know, if it's all too much, you just go into nature, you just spend time outdoors.
Ou seja, para tratar as plantas tens de saber identificá-las mesmo. E os cogumelos também. Portanto, eles são super lindos, mas não podes andar aí a comer coisas, e divertidos também, coisas que podem fazer mal.
Riposati,
Tens de saber
Emma,
identificar as
ma
coisas.
non essere pigra, non essere mai pigra e non fidarti delle persone che ti dicono che sono troppo stanche per riflettere. Quelli sono i peggiori, a volte lo faccio anch'io, però in realtà non fa bene, no? Devi sempre cercare di esercitare la tua mente. E se non hai qualcosa da dire, se non sai che cosa vuoi dire, non importa.
أهم شيء الواحد يحاول حاله بالناس تهتم فيه أكيد اهتمي بأحبائك حبيبتي بس خليهم يهتموا فيك شوي معلش.
Di che stai ancora riflettendo, di che non hai ancora tutte le risposte, va bene così.
E não deixes que ninguém te julgue com base na tua idade, ok? Seres nova, seres velha, não interessa nada. Eu acabei de fazer 40 anos e não admito que ninguém faça isso comigo, era só o que faltava.
معظم المعارك فيها تدخل جماعية